So asbestos, back in the day, it was actually quite a wonderful material. It was essentially a very small mineral that gets mined from the ground. And these minerals have a 1 to 5 profile. So they're 1 wide and they're 5 tall. And multiple pieces of these little tiny needles can fit within the width of a human hair. So you can't see them. But what we did back in the day when we built buildings, drywallers for example, they would add asbestos fibers to their drywall mud. And when they apply it to the drywall, it gives the drywall mud tensile strength. It creates a matrix where it reduces cracking and it makes the material stronger. It was also applied, for example, in floor tiles. You have 10 by 10 floor tiles, and the tiles have less chance of cracking if you put asbestos fibers in the matrix. The other benefit of asbestos was it was also a good fireproofer. So on a lot of HVAC ducts, furnace systems, boilers, we'll find it on the outside for insulation. And it was a fireproof material because it's just a mineral. It's non-combustible. So a wonderful material, fireproof, tensile strength. However, the concern lies not in being in the environment where asbestos is, but when you have asbestos in your building and you sand it, you make it airborne, you do demolition, as soon as those fibers are airborne, it's a respiratory hazard to you. So when we come into your home, we'll test all the materials that may contain asbestos, and there's over 1,000 materials that contain asbestos. So these 1,000 materials that contain asbestos get tested, and we get what's called a hazmat report, hazardous materials report, and this report tells us where we need to remove the material as asbestos abatement. Once we know that asbestos is present and we're removing the material, we have to complete risk assessments, sometimes get consultants involved, and our workers who have to be licensed in the province of BC as level 2 abatement workers and level 3 supervisors perform the actual work. We can't simply bring in laborers to do the work who are untrained in the hazards. Once we come in, our job is to control the airborne hazard of the asbestos, again, the respiratory hazard. So we do that through 2 methods. One is watering, so we apply water to the surface that we're removing as well as to the work environment. And number 2 is we use negative air pressure. So we have equipment that creates a vacuum around the work area to make sure that fibers don't get released outside. They get sucked into our equipment and safely pass through a HEPA filter. Once the material is removed, the materials that remain on your house, say for example if we're doing a 2-foot flood cut, we'll encapsulate the edge of that 2-foot flood cut to make sure that those exposed asbestos fibers don't become airborne while we're putting the new sheet of drywall on. Once we're all done with the asbestos abatement, the asbestos gets hauled off to a landfill and approved disposal site. There's a waste manifest that accompanies the asbestos. That manifest gets filed with the province to show you as the owner of the building that we dispose of your asbestos properly. And we also provide you with the project closure report saying that we remove the asbestos properly. We give you all the air monitoring results for our job, and that serves as your record. So if you ever sell the building in the future or you want to do future work, you know specifically what we affected and what was replaced with non-asbestos containing materials.